The Galaxy Council chamber was silent, the kind of silence that felt heavier than sound itself. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in their shining seats of glass and metal, their glowing eyes fixed on the center of the hall. In the middle stood one man, a human. His name was Ambassador John Hale, Earth's chosen voice to the stars. He stood straight even though his hands were tied behind his back. His uniform was torn and his face was bruised, but his eyes were calm, too calm for someone who knew he was about to die. The alien guards surrounded him, their armor reflecting the council's light. From the highest seat, High Chancellor Vorthen, a tall creature with skin like molten silver, raised his hand. "Humanity has broken the laws of the council," Vorthen said, his voice echoing across the chamber. "You are accused of spreading forbidden technology, of arming lower civilizations. Do you deny it?" John looked up at him. His voice was low but firm. "Humanity only defended itself. We warned you. Earth will never kneel." Murmurs spread across the chamber. The council hated defiance. The alien delegates hissed, whispered, and stared. For a moment, the hall felt like a nest of serpents ready to strike. Chancellor Vorthen's eyes burned brighter. "Then you admit guilt." "I admit," John said slowly, "that you fear what humans can become." A cold silence followed. Then Vorthen gave a slow nod. "Execute him." The guards moved instantly. A pulse rifle charged with blue light. John didn't flinch. He looked straight into the council camera, the same camera broadcasting live to billions of beings across the galaxy. "Tell Earth," he said softly. "Never forgive them." A flash of light filled the room. The screen went black. 2 hours later, Earth Command, New London. A dark conference room filled with tension. Generals, ministers, and scientists watched the replay in disbelief. The image of John's final words repeated again and again on the main screen. No one spoke. Not until Admiral Sarah Drake, head of Earth's defense fleet, slammed her fist on the table. "They killed our diplomat," she said. "On live broadcast. They called it justice," whispered another officer. "They called us a threat." Sarah stood up. Her face was cold, her voice sharper than steel. "Then they'll see what a threat truly looks like." From the corner, an old man spoke. President Ivan Cade. His voice was slow, careful. "If we go to war, there's no turning back. The Council rules half the known galaxy." Sarah looked straight at him. "Sir, the Council just declared war on humanity by killing our only voice. We can't sit and wait for them to come." The president stared at the floor for a long time. Then he nodded. "Activate Operation Phoenix." A soft alarm echoed through the command room. Red lights flashed across every major base, from the moon colonies to Mars outposts. Hidden ships began to rise from underground hangars. Earth was preparing for something it had avoided for centuries, a galactic war. Meanwhile, in deep space, galactic news broadcast. Every alien world watched the footage of the execution. The Council called it necessary action, but not everyone believed them. Some alien races whispered about the humans, how they rose from nothing, how they fought wars even against extinction, how they refused to bow. A rumor spread faster than light. Earth will strike back and far away. On a hidden asteroid station near Saturn, a man in a black uniform watched the broadcast alone. His name was Commander Elias Ward, leader of Earth's secret fleet. He smiled faintly. "They really did it," he muttered. "They crossed the line." He pressed a button on his wrist console. "Wake the fleet. Target coordinates Alpha Prime, no official orders. No mercy." 3 days later, Alpha Prime System, Council Supply Base. The stars looked peaceful. But then, one by one, they began to move. Human warships appeared from hyperspace, dark, silent, fast. Their design was simple but deadly, built for speed and destruction. The largest one, EFS Nemesis, led the fleet. Commander Ward stood on the bridge. "All ships, focus on fuel depots and communication relays. Make it fast, before the Council knows what hit them." "Copy that, sir," replied the pilot. Within seconds, the darkness of space exploded into light. Human torpedoes ripped through alien stations. Fire danced among the stars. The first shots of the never-ending war had been fired. In the Council capital, alarms screamed. Reports came in, the unknown attackers, unknown ships. But the Council knew. They had seen those designs before. "Humans," one officer hissed. "They dared to attack us." Chancellor Vorthon clenched his fists. Then we will crush them. Every world they touch will burn. But deep inside, he felt a strange fear. He remembered the humans' final words. Never forgive them. Back on Earth. Admiral Sarah watched the live tactical feed. The first mission was a success. The council base was gone. No survivors. Good, she said quietly. Now they know Earth won't bow. But before she could turn off the screen, a new signal appeared. It was encrypted, alien in origin. A voice spoke in broken English. Earth! Listen, Council lied. There are things you must know. Before it's too late, Sarah froze. Trace that signal, she ordered. Her officer replied. It's coming from inside the Council's own sector. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. Then we have a traitor among the stars. The camera panned out. Earth glowing blue against the black sky, fleets moving like silent shadows. Somewhere far beyond the stars, the Galaxy Council was preparing for retaliation. But humanity was no longer afraid. The treaty was broken, the trust destroyed, and the universe had just learned a deadly truth. Earth fights back. The stars were quiet again, but for Commander Elias Ward, silence meant danger. He stood on the bridge of the EFS Nemesis, Earth's most advanced warship, watching the remains of the Council's supply base burn in the distance. It had taken less than 10 minutes. 10 minutes for humanity to show the galaxy that they were not afraid. Mission success confirmed, sir, said Lieutenant Rami. No human casualties. Council losses complete. Elias nodded, but his eyes didn't leave the screen. It was too easy, he said softly. They'll respond soon. And when they do, they'll come hard. He turned to his crew. All ships fall back to the shadow line. We vanish before their scanners wake up. Yes. Commander, replied Rami. The fleet disappeared into the void, quiet ghosts retreating into darkness. Meanwhile, Council War Chamber. Planet Vorthar, the chamber burned with chaos. Dozens of alien leaders shouted over each other. They destroyed Alpha Prime. Hundreds of our soldiers gone. This is war. We must retaliate. At the center stood High Chancellor Vorthon, his silver face dark with rage. Order the fleets, he said coldly. Erase their colonies. Show humanity that the Council's judgment is final. But one voice, quiet and trembling, spoke from the corner. Chancellor, said Commander Zarvin, a reptilian officer with golden eyes. Attacking Earth directly will unite them. They are unpredictable, emotional. You cannot fight emotion with numbers. Vorthon turned toward him. Are you defending them? Zarvin lowered his gaze. No, sir. I'm warning you. You've created something you can't control. Enough, Vorthon hissed. Prepare the counterstrike, and bring me every human sympathizer in our ranks. 2 days later, hidden Earth base, the lunar front. Admiral Sarah Drake entered the command center. The screens around her glowed with reports. Council fleets moving, colonies destroyed, refugees incoming. Status? She asked. Bad, said her officer. They hit Mars Station 9, 20,000 dead. Sarah's hands tightened into fists. They're hitting civilians now. Yes, ma'am. They're trying to break morale. Sarah looked at the holographic map, red dots spreading across known space. They don't understand, she whispered. They think humans surrender when they suffer. But pain only makes us stronger. She walked to the main console. Send orders to Commander Ward. Phase 2 begins now. I want the Council to feel our pain. Deep space. Operation Phoenix Fleet. Elias Ward received the message. His eyes hardened. Phase 2. Understood. He turned to his crew. We strike at their lifeblood. Communication relays, fuel depots, and food transports. No planets, no civilians. Just the systems that keep them breathing. Sir, said Rami. That'll cripple half their trade routes. Exactly, Elias replied. Let's see how their perfect order survives chaos. Hours later, the human fleet appeared again, silent predators among the stars. One by one, the alien relays exploded. The Council's long communication network collapsed. Panic spread across the galaxy as entire sectors went dark. A Council broadcast screamed through the comms. Unknown attackers, human signature confirmed. Repeat, human signature confirmed. Planet Droskar, outer colony of the Council. On the surface, alien citizens ran for cover as flames filled the sky. Human dropships descended like meteors, targeting military depots. Inside one of the bases, Commander Zarvin watched the destruction through his glass window. His fellow officers shouted, "We need to evacuate!" But Zarvin didn't move. His mind was somewhere else. He whispered, "They're faster than we thought," and more determined. As he turned away, he saw something flashing on his communicator. A secret code he recognized. Earth contact channel open. He hesitated for a moment. Then he pressed the button. "This is Commander Zarvin," he said quietly. "To whoever listens on Earth, I bring information that may end this war before it destroys everything." There was a long pause. Then a human voice replied, "This is Admiral Drake of Earth Command. Speak, back on the lunar front." Sarah leaned forward as Zarvin's transmission played. His voice was calm but urgent. "The Council didn't kill your diplomat because of a treaty. They killed him because he discovered the truth. The Council hides something ancient, in the core systems, a weapon of the old empire. They feared humans would find it first." The room fell silent. Sarah frowned. "You're saying they executed John Hale to protect their secret?" "Yes," Zarvin replied. "But now, by starting this war, they have woken things that were meant to sleep." "What things?" Sarah asked. But before he could answer, the signal distorted. Static filled the screen. "Admiral, we're losing the feed," an officer shouted. Then faintly, Zarvin's voice came through one last time. "They found me. Don't trust the Council." The line went dead. Minutes later, Council intelligence ship, orbit of Droskar. A group of alien soldiers entered Zarvin's quarters. The lights flickered. The room was empty. Only his communicator remained, still warm. Their commander growled, "He's gone." He warned the humans. "Find him," the commander ordered. "Alive or dead." Meanwhile, deep space human warship Nemesis. Elias Ward received a message from Earth Command. Zarvin compromised. "Information lost," he frowned. "If that alien risked his life to warn us, then whatever the Council hides must be serious." "Do you think it's a weapon?" asked Rami. Elias nodded slowly. "Maybe, or something worse. Either way, we need to find it before they do." He looked out at the stars, his reflection in the window. "Set course for Council territory. It's time we hit their heart." Far away, on the Council capital, Chancellor Vorthon stared at a hologram of burning ships and destroyed stations. His advisors begged for orders, but his mind was fixed on a single thought: fear. He whispered to himself, "If humans find the ancient core, the entire galaxy will burn." The human fleet drifted silently through the dark side of space. The stars outside looked calm, but everyone aboard the EFS Nemesis knew the truth. Calm was never peace. Calm was the pause before fire. Commander Elias Ward stood at the bridge, watching endless stars on the main screen. His mind replayed Admiral Sarah's last words before communication broke. "Find the alien Elias, find Zarvin. He knows something that could end this war." But no one had seen or heard from Zarvin since his last. Broken message. "Don't trust the Council." "Sir," said Lieutenant Rami from the console, "we've traced the last signal. Came from a derelict ship near the Vale Nebula." Elias turned. "A Council ship?" "Yes, sir. No life signs detected, but energy readings still active." Elias nodded slowly. "Set a course. Maybe our traitor is waiting for us." 2 hours later, the Vale Nebula. The Nemesis entered a cloud of glowing dust. Lightning crackled through the gas clouds like angry spirits. In the center drifted an old broken cruiser, its hull burned, its symbol of the Galaxy Council torn apart. The ship's name read, CV Drossen. Elias stared at it. "Bring us in. Small team only." A few minutes later, Elias and 5 soldiers boarded the wreck. Inside, everything was silent. The corridors were dark and frozen, the metal walls covered in frost. The crew had been gone a long time. Suddenly, one of the soldiers stopped. "Sir, look at this." On the wall, someone had written in alien letters, but beside it, scratched by a knife, were English words. "The core is real." Elias frowned. Zarvin was here. They moved deeper into the ship until they reached the control room. A flickering light caught Elias's eye. A small hologram device still running on low power. He pressed a button. The device sparked to life and a tired, familiar voice spoke. "To whoever finds this, my name is Commander Zarvin of the Council Fleet. I know I will die soon. The hologram flickered, showing Zarvan's reptilian face, his golden eyes calm and sad. The council lied to all of us. The human diplomat, John Hale, found ancient ruins under Mars. Inside there was a code, a star map. It pointed to the origin core, an ancient machine built by the first civilization. The council feared that humans, with their curiosity, would activate it. That is why they executed your diplomat. The team stood frozen. The hologram continued. They think the core can control time itself, or destroy it. They want to keep it hidden, buried forever. But now the war has awakened it. If Earth reaches it first, maybe the galaxy can change. If the council reaches it, everything ends. The message ended with a warning. Trust no one. Even among humans, their agents hide. The war is only the beginning. Then the hologram shut down. For a moment, no one spoke. The silence was heavy. Elias exhaled slowly. So that's it. The council killed our diplomat to hide their secret weapon. Rami frowned. Do you believe it, sir? A machine that controls time? Elias looked at the broken walls. After what we've seen, I believe anything. Should we report this to Earth? He shook his head. No, not yet. We can't risk a leak. If the council has spies inside our command, Zarvan's warning might be true. He turned toward his soldiers. We find the core first, for Earth and for Hale. Meanwhile, Council Command Planet Vorthar. Chancellor Vorthon stood before a giant hologram of space. Red lines marked human attacks spreading across the map. Reports say the humans have recovered the Drossen ship, said one advisor nervously. If they found Zarvan's message, then we are already too late, Vorthon interrupted. His silver skin reflected the dim light. They will come for the core. He turned to his generals. Double the guard at the ancient site. Activate the seers. The core must not fall into human hands. But, Chancellor, one alien asked, what if it awakens? Vorthon looked at him with burning eyes. Then may the stars forgive us all. Back on the Nemesis, deep space. The crew was silent as the ship left the nebula. The discovery of Zarvan's message changed everything. Sir, said Rami carefully, the coordinates from the hologram, they lead to the Lyrian sector. That's deep inside Council territory. Elias nodded. I know. That's where the core is. Getting there means crossing 5 patrol zones. It's suicide. Elias smiled faintly. Then let's die doing something that matters. Earth Command, Lunar Base, Admiral Sarah Drake received a short encrypted message from Elias Ward. No words. Just coordinates and 3 symbols. Her eyes widened. The core? A voice behind her spoke. You shouldn't be looking at that. Sarah turned. A tall man stood in the doorway. Agent Corvin from Earth Intelligence. His expression was calm, but his presence made the room feel cold. I didn't authorize that transmission, he said slowly. The core is Council propaganda. Don't get distracted, Admiral. Sarah stared at him. How did you even know about the message? Corvin smiled faintly. I know many things, her instincts screamed. Zarvan's warning echoed in her mind. Even among humans, their agents hide. She forced a calm tone. Of course, Agent, I'll keep it confidential. He nodded, still smiling. Good. The Council would love to see us chasing ghosts. As soon as he left, Sarah whispered to her assistant, trace that man's file. I want to know who he really works for. Moments later, deep space. The Nemesis prepared for a long jump. The crew didn't know what waited ahead. The core, traps, or maybe the end of everything. Elias stood by the main screen, watching the stars shift. His thoughts went to Zarvan, the alien who had risked his life to tell the truth. Lieutenant, he said quietly. Set course for Lyrian. Maximum stealth. No transmissions, Rami nodded. Course locked, sir. Good, Elias said. Let's finish what Hale started. As the engines roared and the ship vanished into hyperspace, the camera slowly zoomed out. The galaxy stretched before them, full of secrets and danger. And somewhere in the shadows, unseen eyes were watching. Space was no longer silent. Every corner of the galaxy now echoed with war. Human fleets and council armadas clashed across the stars, leaving trails of fire and broken ships behind. Once the Galaxy Council ruled with power and order. Now, their empire trembled as humanity's rage spread faster than light. Commander Elias Ward, aboard the EFS Nemesis, watched the chaos unfold on his holographic map. Red dots marked battles across sectors. Blue dots, Earth's fleets, burned bright, moving like sparks through darkness. The war had grown beyond control. "Report," Elias said quietly. Lieutenant Rami looked pale. "Council fleets are falling back from the Vega line. But, sir, we lost contact with Mars Station 12. They were attacked by drones we've never seen before." Elias frowned. "Drones? Council doesn't use autonomous units." "No, sir. Not before now." Elias looked at the screen again. The drones appeared on the tactical feed, black, fast, without heat signatures. They moved like shadows. Something about them felt wrong, he whispered. Maybe the Council found a new weapon. Meanwhile, Council War Chamber. Planet Vorthar. The once proud chamber was dim and cracked, filled with stress and panic. Holograms of battle reports floated around the room. Chancellor Vorthan stood tall, but his voice trembled as he spoke. "Our fleets are losing ground. Colonies are rebelling. Humans have allies now, traitor species joining their cause." A general shouted, "Then release the drones. Let them erase everything." Vorthan slammed his fist against the table. "The drones are not soldiers. They are remnants of the ancient core. We were never meant to wake them." "But we already have," another voice cried. Silence fell. Vorthan turned slowly toward the screen. It showed a swarm of black ships devouring a human convoy, not fighting but consuming energy from it. He whispered, "You fools. You unleashed them." Earth Command, Lunar Front Admiral Sarah Drake stood before the Council of Generals. The hologram displayed human fleets struggling against something unknown. "What are those things?" one general asked. Sarah's face was pale. "They're not alive. They don't transmit signals. It's like the Council has unleashed machines that feed on energy." Another officer spoke. "If they keep spreading, they'll destroy both sides." Sarah nodded slowly. "Then maybe that's exactly what the Council wants, and to let the machines wipe everything clean." The room fell silent. Everyone realized the truth. This war had already gone beyond victory or defeat. It had become a fight for survival. EFS Nemesis, deep space. The ship trembled as explosions shook the outer hull. Human and alien drones swarmed around them. The battle outside looked like a storm of fire. "Shields at 40%, shouted Rami. "Hold the line," Elias ordered. "Fire on those drones. Don't let them near the engine core." The ship's guns blazed, cutting through waves of black machines. But for every drone destroyed, 2 more appeared. "Sir," shouted Rami, "they're adapting. Our energy weapons aren't working anymore." Elias clenched his teeth. "Switch to kinetic rounds. Bullets still kill." The Nemesis fired metal projectiles that tore through the drones like meteors. The ship shook, but it held its ground. Finally, after minutes of chaos, the radar cleared. The drones retreated into the void. Everyone on the bridge was breathing heavily. "Report," Elias said. 17 hull breaches. 2 engines offline, but we survived," Rami said weakly. Elias looked at the fading radar. "No, we just survived the test. The real war starts now." Planet Jurok, Council Colony. Smoke filled the sky. The ground trembled as human soldiers and Council. Troops fought in the streets. But something strange was happening. Some alien soldiers dropped their weapons and joined the humans. "We don't want this war anymore," shouted a reptilian soldier. "The Council lied to all of us." A human Marine lowered his gun slowly. "Then help us end it." And so, side by side, 2 enemies fought together, against the machines that threatened them both. The news of this alliance spread fast, a symbol of hope in a galaxy that had forgotten peace. Back on Earth, Command Sarah Drake watched the footage of human and alien soldiers fighting. Together, she whispered, "Maybe this is what Hale wanted." "Today," her officer replied, "but it won't last long. The drones are multiplying," Sarah nodded. "Then we have to find the core before they do. If that machine controls them, it might be the key to stopping the war." EFS Nemesis. Lyrian Sector Elias and his crew finally reached the edge of the forbidden zone. The stars here looked darker, twisted. Strange energy fields pulsed across space like invisible storms. "Sir," said Rami quietly, "we're entering the coordinates from Zarvan's map." Elias nodded. "Prepare the stealth drive. No transmissions, no signals. From now on, we are ghosts. As they passed through the dark nebula, something appeared on the radar, a massive structure hidden in the shadow of a dead planet. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a station. It was a ring thousands of kilometers wide, rotating slowly in silence. The origin core, Rami whispered. It's real. Elias stared at it, awe and fear in his eyes. So this is what started it all. A voice crackled through the radio, static and then a faint whisper. Commander Ward, I warned you not to come here. It was Zarvan's voice. Elias froze. Zarvan, you're alive? But the voice turned harsh, distorted, almost mechanical. No, not alive. The core has me now. The signal ended. The crew stared at each other in horror. Sir, Rami said quietly, what does that mean? Elias's expression hardened. It means we're not fighting just a council anymore. He looked out the window at the glowing ring. We're fighting something far older. Far away in the council capital, Chancellor Vorthan received the same signal. His eyes widened as he heard Zarvan's voice echo through his chamber. You cannot stop the core, the war. Will never end, Vorthan whispered. Then the legends were true. The screen turned black. The war had reached Earth. For the first time in centuries, blue skies were filled with burning trails of ships. Council cruisers, human battleships, and black swarms of drones tearing through the upper atmosphere. Cities glowed under the fire of orbital strikes. The planet that once united humanity now stood at the edge of total destruction. From the command tower of Earth Defense Station Atlas, Admiral Sarah Drake watched the chaos unfold. Her face was tired, eyes hollow, but her voice stayed calm. Status report, she said. Multiple enemy fleets inbound from 3 vectors, replied her officer. The drones are leading the charge. The council fleet follows behind them, almost like they're hiding from their own creation, Sarah frowned. Cowards. They unleashed the core, and now they run from it. EFS Nemesis, Orbit of Mars Commander Elias Ward stood before a hologram of the massive ring structure, the origin core. He had seen it, felt it, and barely escaped alive. Zarvan's final transmission still echoed in his head. The core feeds on war. It will never stop until both sides are gone. He turned to his crew. The core is sending the drones toward Earth. That's where it'll feed the most, right? From fear, from chaos. If we don't stop it now, there won't be a galaxy left. Rami looked scared. Sir, what can we even do? It's not alive. It's a machine god, Elias stared at him. Then we'll do what humans always do. Fight gods when we have to. He pointed to the map. Plot a jump straight to Earth. The Nemesis will be the last shield. Earth orbit, the battle begins. The black drones hit the defense line like a storm. They moved fast, cutting through ships with glowing blades of energy. Human fighters exploded one after another, leaving silent bursts of light behind. Hold your positions, shouted Sarah through the comms. No one retreats. We fight for every life below us. Atlas Station fired its rail cannons, massive bursts of light slicing through space. Each shot destroyed hundreds of drones, but for every one destroyed, more appeared from the void. Admiral, cried her communications officer. New contact, incoming from Mars orbit. It's the Nemesis. Sarah's eyes widened. Elias. The massive human battleship roared into view, weapons glowing like burning stars. FS Nemesis. Bridge. Target the swarm's core, shouted Elias. Focus fire! The Nemesis unleashed its full arsenal. Plasma lances, missile volleys, rail cannons. The battlefield lit up as drones shattered under the onslaught. But then the radar screamed with red warnings. A new signature appeared, a massive black shape emerging from hyperspace. It wasn't a ship. It was alive. A voice echoed through every human and council comm channel at once, deep, mechanical, and ancient. Children of war, you have served your purpose. The harvest is complete. Rami's hands shook. It's the core. It's talking. The stars themselves seemed to bend as the origin core entity appeared. A colossal sphere of dark metal and light, surrounded by tendrils of energy. It was neither ship nor planet. It was something in between. Council Capital, Chancellor Vorthan's Chamber Vorthan, stood before a flickering hologram of the core. His advisors were shouting, but he barely heard them. You tried to control me, the core said. Now you will be remembered as dust. The signal cut out. Seconds later, The entire council capital vanished in white light. Earth defense line. Final stand. The humans and their few alien allies watched in horror as entire fleets were erased. Sarah Drake clenched her fists. All units, focus everything on that sphere. Admiral, we'll burn out our reactors. Then burn them. We die standing. Earth's defense ships turned toward the core and fired everything they had. Lasers, missiles, kinetic shells. The void filled with light, but when the brightness faded, the core was still there, unharmed. The drones moved faster now, devouring ships for energy. The end had begun. F's nemesis, command deck, sir. The core is invincible, Rami said in despair. Elias stared at the sensor feed. Nothing is invincible. He looked down at the small crystal Zarvan had given him before dying, a fragment of the core's origin code. The alien had whispered, "If you reach the heart, this will awaken it." Elias turned to his crew. "Prepare the nemesis for ramming course." Everyone froze. "Sir." "You can't be serious." "I am. This ship has the strongest reactor in the fleet. If we overload it with the fragment inside, it might collapse the core's energy field." Rami whispered, "That's suicide." Elias gave a small smile. "Then I'll die doing something that matters." He took the crystal and placed it into the reactor console. The lights flickered. "Helm," he said calmly. "Set course, straight into the core." Earth command. Atlas Station. Sarah watched in silence as the nemesis charged toward the core. Her voice cracked. "Elias, what are you doing?" "What we should have done long ago," came his reply. Tell them humanity stood its ground." The nemesis accelerated, glowing brighter as its reactor overloaded. The drones swarmed around it, but the ship tore through them like a comet. Inside the bridge, alarm screamed. The walls melted from heat. Elias stood firm. "For Earth." He pressed the final command. The nemesis collided with the core. For one moment, everything went silent. Then a burst of white light consumed the sky, brighter than the sun, washing across the planet, the fleets, and the stars beyond. Every drone froze. Every engine stopped. And then, they all shattered into dust. The explosion left a silent void. Hours later, Atlas Station floated among wreckage. The core was gone. The war was over. Sarah Drake looked at Earth through the window, scarred, burning, but alive. "Status?" she asked quietly. "Minimal power. No drones left. We did it," said her officer. Sarah nodded slowly, tears in her eyes. "No, he did it." She looked at the stars where the nemesis once stood. Goodbye, Elias. But far away, beyond the burned space where the core had vanished, a faint spark glowed in the darkness, a pulse of light like a heartbeat, and then a whisper, "It's not over." The stars were quiet. The great battle was over. The drones were gone. The sky above Earth was clear for the first time in months. But everyone knew this silence wasn't peace. It was the pause before another storm. Admiral Sarah Drake stood on the deck of Atlas Station, staring at the endless debris of ships floating in orbit. Pieces of alien metal, burnt drones, and human wrecks drifted like ghosts. "Sir," said her officer, voice low. "Long-range scanners detect something strange. Radiation spikes. From the same region where the core exploded." Sarah turned sharply. "That's impossible. The core was destroyed. The nemesis sacrificed itself." "Yes, ma'am. But something's waking up out there. Deep space in the void near Jupiter's orbit. In the dark emptiness, something stirred. A small fragment of the core, broken, cracked, glowing faintly, floated among the wreckage. Then, like a dying heartbeat, it pulsed once. Energy rippled out. The wreckage around it began to move. Shattered metal bent and fused together, forming strange new shapes. It was as if the remains of the war were being reborn into something else, something alive. A voice echoed in the void, faint but growing stronger. "The war feeds me. Humanity feeds me." The core entity was not dead. It had evolved. Atlas Station. Earth Command Room. Sarah slammed her fist on the console. "Prepare the fleet. I want every ship ready to move." "Ma'am, we've lost half our power cores. Most of our defenses are offline. Then rebuild them. Use everything we have left." Her eyes burned with determination. "If that thing is coming back, we'll be ready." "Earth doesn't surrender twice." Somewhere on the lunar outpost, secret lab doctor. Elena Ward, sister of Commander Elias Ward, worked quietly in her lab. She hadn't spoken much since her brother's death. But now, as alarms started to ring, she looked up at the glowing screen showing a familiar energy pattern. She froze. No. It can't be. The signal on her display was identical to the core's, but mixed inside it. A faint human energy signature. Elias, she whispered. You're still there. Jupiter space. The return of the core. The core reformed slowly, its surface now covered with fragments of both alien and human ships. It looked monstrous, a twisted reflection of everything that had fought it. The voice was colder now. You cannot destroy creation with destruction. I am the result of both. Lightning-like energy burst out from the sphere, slicing through the emptiness of space. The shockwave reached Earth within minutes. Atlas Station. Emergency alert. All systems down. Energy overload approaching. Shields to full. Sarah watched the monitors as the core appeared on the screen. Reborn, bigger and darker than before. She spoke into the comms. All fleets. This is Admiral Drake. We face the enemy once more. The Nemesis bought us time. Now we use it. Humanity stands again. The human fleets launched from orbit. Old ships, new prototypes, anything that could fly joined the formation. Inside the core, unknown realm. In the heart of the core, a consciousness stirred. Elias Ward. He wasn't dead. His mind had been absorbed by the core's systems during the explosion. His human code mixed with alien AI. Now he existed somewhere between life and machine. He looked around. Endless digital storms. Memories and fragments of voices. Then he heard it. The voice of the core itself. You are a part of me now, human. Elias's voice echoed back. No. You're part of me. He began pushing against the core's control, flooding it with his own memories. His crew, his sister, Earth. The machine started to shake, its light flickering. What is this? The core roared. Human will, Elias replied. Something you'll never understand. Earth fleet. The battle for Jupiter, the sky near Jupiter turned into fire. Human ships charged toward the core, firing everything they had. Lasers streaked, missiles exploded, and the dark sphere shook but did not fall. Then something unexpected happened. The core started firing on itself. Sarah blinked in disbelief. What's happening to it? Dr. Elena's voice came over comms. Admiral, it's my brother. He's inside the core, fighting it from within. Sarah's heart pounded. Elias! You mad bastard! Inside the core, the mind battle Elias stood before the core's digital presence, a massive storm of light and darkness. You cannot win, it said. You are a memory. Maybe, Elias said, but memories are stronger than you think. He focused his thoughts, imagining Earth, the oceans, the people, the hope. The core screamed as human emotion poured into its system like fire. Stop, it burns. That's called life, Elias said. Outside, the final blow, Elena screamed into her mic. He's weakening it. Now's your chance. Fire the horizon cannon. Sarah gave the order. All units, fire everything. The horizon cannon, Earth's last remaining superweapon, charged and released a beam of pure light. It struck the core's heart, the same spot where Elias's mind fought within. The explosion was massive. Every ship was thrown back. Jupiter's rings shattered under the shockwave. Then silence again. Moments later, the core's light faded. Its massive body broke apart, drifting slowly. On Atlas Station, the crew watched in awe. Is it over? Someone whispered. Sarah didn't answer. She just watched the wreckage. Suddenly, her communicator buzzed, a faint static voice. Sarah, tell them. It's done. Her eyes widened. Elias? Don't forget why we fought. The signal faded completely. Days later, Earth rebuilds. The war was finally over. The core was gone. The council was broken. Humans and alien survivors worked together to rebuild, under a new peace pact called the Unity Accord. Dr. Elena placed a small metal plaque at the site of Atlas Station's new command tower. It read, "For Commander Elias Ward, who turned wrath into hope." She smiled softly. You saved them, brother. But somewhere deep in the cold remains of the core, a tiny fragment blinked once, like a heartbeat. And in the darkness, a voice whispered again, "Humanity's wrath still burns." The stars were quiet once more, but silence in space never lasted long. It had been 3 years since the fall of the core. Earth was slowly healing. The skies were no longer filled with fire. Instead, they were filled with rebuilding ships and the bright lines of trade routes. The Unity Accord, formed between humans and alien survivors, promised a future of peace. But everyone knew peace in the galaxy was fragile. Like glass, Admiral Sarah Drake now led the new Galactic Union fleet, not as a soldier but as a guardian. She stood at the command balcony of Unity Station, a massive ring city orbiting Earth. Her eyes watched the stars quietly. "Elias," she whispered, "you gave us peace. But for how long?" Scene 1, the new beginning, Dr. Elena Ward had become one of the leading scientists of the Union. Her research focused on core fragments, the remains of the machine god that once tried to consume all life. She stood inside a secure lab on Luna, surrounded by floating shards sealed in energy fields. Her assistant asked carefully, "Are you sure we should keep studying them, Doctor? These things nearly ended the galaxy." Elena looked at the glowing crystal. "That's why we must study them. If another core ever awakens, we need to understand it and control it." Her tone carried both determination and fear, because deep inside she sometimes heard echoes, faint whispers coming from the shards. "Humanity still burns." She shook her head and turned away, pretending she didn't hear. Scene 2, the hidden threat far away from Earth. On a dead world once controlled by the Galactic Council, a group of alien scavengers searched the ruins. "Hey, look at this," one of them said, pointing to a half-buried structure glowing faintly beneath the sand. When they dug it out, they found something unbelievable, a small metallic orb pulsing with life. "It's still active," whispered another. The orb suddenly spoke, its voice cold and familiar. "Designation, reconstruction mode. New host species detected." The alien screamed, but it was too late. The orb unfolded into black tendrils, spreading like veins through the ruins. The core was reborn, not as a machine, but as something new. Scene 3, Unity Station warning back at Unity Station. Alarms started to ring. Admiral Drake, long-range sensors just detected a massive energy surge from the Orion belt. Sarah turned quickly. "Show me." On the holographic map, a wave of red energy spread across multiple star systems. The same radiation signature as the old core. Her heart sank. "No, not again." She pressed the intercom. "This is Admiral Sarah Drake to all command stations. The core has returned. Begin evacuation protocol Helios." Scene 4. The return of the fire in deep space. The new core entity expanded like a living storm. It was no longer just metal and energy. It had adapted. It grew by consuming entire planets, absorbing organic life and technology alike. The galaxies burned again, but this time, humanity was not unprepared. The Union fleet, humans and aliens fighting together, moved faster than ever. Dozens of ships jumped into formation around Unity Station. Admiral Sarah's voice echoed across the comms. "We will not run. We will not bow. This time, we end it. Together." Scene 5. The ghost in the machine. As the fleets prepared for battle, Dr. Elena's console began flashing with static. A voice came through, distorted but unmistakable. "Elena, it's me." Her hands trembled. "Elias." "The core isn't one mind. It's many. I'm still inside it. It's trying to rebuild through me." Elena's eyes filled with tears. "Then we can save you. Just tell us how." "No," Elias said softly. "You can't save me. But you can finish what I started. Destroy it, even if it means destroying me too." She closed her eyes, whispering, "I'm sorry." Brother, Scene 6. The final battle. The Union fleet clashed with the core's reborn form above a dying sun. Flames, plasma, and light filled the void. Ships shattered, planets cracked, and the stars trembled. Sarah stood on the bridge, giving commands without fear. "Fire everything we have. Focus on its center." Elena's voice broke through the chaos. "Admiral, I have a plan. I can overload the core fragments still inside Unity Station. If I link them with the core's signal, it'll collapse the entire structure." Sarah hesitated. "That'll destroy the station. And everyone on it," Elena whispered. There's no peace without sacrifice. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, then nodded. Do it. Scene 7. The Collapsilina stood before the glowing core fragments as they began to hum louder and louder. Through the static of her headset, she heard Elias one last time. You did well, Elena. Tell Sarah. Thank you. Then the fragments exploded in pure light. The energy surged through the core's reborn body, tearing it apart from within. In one final scream, half machine, half human, the core vanished into white fire. Scene 8. The aftermath. When the light faded, Unity Station was gone. The core was dust, but so were thousands of brave lives. Sarah Drake's ship barely survived the explosion. She looked at the empty stars and whispered, Rest in peace, Elias. Humanity remembers. Scene 9. Years later, centuries passed. Humanity spread across the stars, building new worlds. Children learned the story of the never-ending war, how humans fought gods, machines, and darkness itself. But some nights, in the quiet of deep space, explorers reported strange signals, whispers in the static. We are the Union. We are the core. We are humanity. And so the legend continued, a cycle of creation, destruction, and rebirth, because even after peace, war still lived inside every heart. The final line of the story was written in the stars. Every ending is only the beginning of another war.